the Phoenix PX12 model of the flute with the straight head joint. My name is Kay Risley, I'm a local flute teacher here in Basingstoke, and I want to demonstrate the richness and loudness and harsh tone possible to achieve at the bottom of this instrument. Don't worry, there will be other tones coming up, but it's quite amazing that a student flute will play with such gravitas really at the bottom of its range. So this is to demonstrate the beginning of the Cantacurian flute concerto, which needs a very strong sound at the bottom. Now, the third page of this flute concerto contains a tone which I can achieve on this flute. It's a very, very harsh tone, but to not alarm you, I'm going to show it normally, and then I'm going to change the tone, and then halfway through on the F, I'm going to use a softer tone. So this is normally, the flute can sound like this. To its limits, it can sound like this. I'm going to change the tone here. So as to have peace of mind, if you buy one of these flutes, it comes with a 30-day music teacher approval, which means you can keep it for 30 days, bring it along to your first lessons, get your teacher to check it and find out if she thinks it's suitable for you. So if I were the music teacher, these are some of the things that I would check. If it's a new flute, I would expect all the keys to be level. I would expect them all to go down at the same time. More importantly than that, I would expect them to finish at the same time, even if they didn't start at the same time. But obviously, they do. Another thing that is good with this flute is it has a split E mechanism, an offset G. So this will help the E to stay in tune. This will enable you to reach around the edge for a comfortable hand position on the G. I would also check that the headpiece is nice, no cracks anywhere, that this isn't loose, because that would affect the tuning. You can also check whether or not it can play a low C, because that would mean that there are no leaks on the flute anywhere. And it plays a low C easily. I would then test a slow chromatic scale on it to check every note. I'll do a faster one. I would check that F sharp because that's a notoriously difficult area on the flute. The C sharp. And it's tuning in relation to the D. And if I could see that the trill keys had their pads on them, there was no stickiness here on the B thumb position with the B flat, no trouble there, rolling the two, then the flute's good to go. So, though this is a student flute, I want to assure you it would take you through the national curriculum up to your grade 8. It's perfectly possible to achieve your grade 8 on this instrument. If it were not possible, it couldn't really be a student flute. After this flute, you can go and buy a professional model if you want, but this will be fine up to your grade 8. So to demonstrate that, I'm going to play the first page of The Arrival of the Queen of Sheba by Handel. I'm going to play the first page of The Arrival of the Queen of Sheba by Handel. Flute concerto on my flute, which is worth thousands of pounds and is a wooden flute and is very sturdy, I have to say that I can feel the keywork bending under my fingers at certain points. On this flute, I'd like to point out that there is no lateral action between any of the keys, absolutely solid, and no double action on any of them at all. So it's very robust. If it can play the Catucurian flute concerto, it can play anything. To demonstrate the different tone colours available on this flute, it's possible to get the very bright sound down here at the bottom, running right through to the hollow sound at the other extreme. Same in the middle of the flute. So it is perfectly possible to play with a very pleasant sound, which I will demonstrate in the next piece. Okay, so this is the beginning of the Fantaisie Pastorale Hongroise by Doppler. It's just to demonstrate to you now that the flute is capable of achieving a hollow tone down at the bottom of the instrument. Flute that I have been playing with, and it has two head joints. So for children who are too small to reach down at the bottom of the instrument comfortably, we have like an umbrella at the top. So it bends it round like a walking stick, and it shortens the flute. So this is the head joint that comes as an extra with the Phoenix flute, and I'm just going to play something again quite simple but with a nice sound. This is a grade 5 piece. This is Sicilienne by Fauré. Piece, but just to show that it's possible playing a very nice melodic line on the instrument with a curved head joint. So classical piece is Andante in C by Mozart, again on the flute with a curved head joint. if I take off the curved head joint of the Phoenix PX12C, it reverts back to being a normal flute again. So, putting on the old head joint. So this is Bach's Suite in B minor, the last movement. So in order to be able to play anything, a flute has to be able to play the whole entire range in tune, and has to be able to play expressively, quietly at the top, loudly at the bottom. So I'm just going to demonstrate the entire range of notes to you, including up to the top D, from the bottom C. Now that's where the flute usually stops, but we do have a high C sharp and the top D as well. So from the top C, so if you want the top D, there it is, easy to get. We can certainly, as I've shown you, get loud down at the bottom. Quietly. And at the top of the flute, loudly. Quietly. No problem. So, one more piece to demonstrate the velvety tone it's possible at achieving at the bottom of the flute is Schumann's Traumerei. Shows it's possible to play quietly at the bottom as well as loudly. And then we have Tambourin by Gossack, again a very fast piece of music.